Firstly, welcome to Manchester Film Festival. Please introduce yourself and your film.
So my name is Ben Lyons. My film is the Penitential Act.
And why this story now?
Yes, I mean I was born and raised kind of very traditionally Catholic, and I can find now because I've kind of had quite a distance away from the faith now. And I wanted to be as objective as possible about kind of my experiences growing up queer under the faith. I didn't kind of want it to be an attack on the faith or anything like that. So I kind of needed a few years of distance for things to kind of simmer, and yeah, so that's kind of why now, because I thought I could be as objective as possible about the story.
I think that really comes through actually. There's no attacking it's very lovely balance.
Do you know what? It was weird. I started kind of writing the script and the story very much kind of from one perspective. And it was kind of through the production, it was through pre-production and developing the story and working with Alan, who plays the priest. And weirdly kind of the priest becomes the hero of the story. So, you know, Dominic, who is our lead, is John, kind of is very provocative and pushes kind of Alan to his limits. Father Upton, but Father Upton kind of strays true to his principles and his core values, despite his own kind of closeted queerness, which he kind of views as, you know, a constant test from God, if you will. That's his perspective on it. And despite, you know, kind of not giving anything away, but John pushing him to a kind of a dark place, in the most holy of places, he still kind of chooses to help John in his own way, and to kind of free him from his own prisons as best he can. So it was almost kind of a journey for myself as well, going through the writing the scripts and the production.
When you start it, you do think that it's John that's being tested, but as it moves through, I don't know if you end up with that same feeling.
Yeah, I'd hope not.
Yeah. You start thinking it's going to be about his struggle, but the turn to...
Yeah, I kind of thought what was really interesting was both of these people are kind of in prisons of their own making. So, you know, Father Upton, being queer, has chosen to kind of pursue a life that actively rejects who he is, or at least if he acts on his desires. While kind of John is more of a common kind of experience for people growing up in that time, where it's who they are that is rejected by wider society. So it kind of became far more interesting to almost reverse the roles that you would expect for a story like this, and for our hero of the story, which is John, kind of acting in a pretty villainous manner, and actually Father Upton becoming the hero of the story, which was quite nice.
I just want to ask you quickly about the music, because the music, I know you said your composer was maybe here, but the music's amazing.
It's right there actually. I can bring her in if you like.
If you want to do a quick question.
Hello.
Just one final question. Just tell me about composing the music, everything. Gorgeous.
So, I mean, like the music originally, like we'd had quite expansive vision on the music. We really went expansive with it, and we wanted to go quite grand. And as we went along, we realised that the film just suited more and more stripped back and subtle. And so we made some quite conscious decisions about like how we do that for the most impact possible on some quite a minimal amount of scenes with the most power. And in the end, the scenes that got selected for the most powerful points ended up just being the most correct. It just worked so well. And I think the main decision behind that was so that the finale and the choirs and the sound, and because that was such a pivotal point in the film, like to just make sure that didn't lose any of its impetus, didn't lose any of its power. So that was a big part of the decision making as well. But we made sure that the like instrumentation was all just like, although it was subtle, it just fitted within that like space, that kind of like almost ethereal kind of like religious moment, but not in the way that you expect. Do you know what I mean?
I will say actually, because I've worked with Alexandra on, is it 4? Yeah, so like it's like 4 shorts now, and because I come from a family of musicians, so I'm like very musically inclined, and I love Alexandra's work like to bits. And for like the previous 3 shorts, the music was kind of a bit of a hero of the film itself, because she's fucking talented. Sorry, I don't know if I could swear, but yeah, I think it was a different challenge for this, and one that Alexandra rose to beautifully, because there's so much silence in the film, and it's so much about kind of internal struggle, that we were very aware that like the music couldn't intrude too much on that, but elevate it very subtly, which obviously Alexandra did. So yeah.
Amazing. Well done, guys. Thank you so much.